and how important was all the things the NBA and the players were able to accomplish in regards to Black Lives Matter inside the bubble in Orlando? And also, what was the most difficult part of your rehab, and are you 100% right now?
Yeah, I think the things we were able to accomplish in the bubble were great. I think across the board, players, staff, coaches used our voices and used that platform to bring about some change and also to start some serious conversations that we're gonna have to continue to work on going through this next season and the future for really the rest of our careers and our lives. It's going to be a fight that has to continue, and I think we've done a great job of kind of setting the stage and setting the example and starting that fight. And as far as my rehab, things have been going good. Everything's on track. Everything's on schedule, thankfully. So no hiccups. Ready to get going.
Okay, Mark, follow up.
Dwight, good morning. It's nice to see you and speak with you again.
Good morning.
Was wondering, as a player who plays so well off of Luka with hard rolls in the basket and catching blocks and such, if there was an aspect to his game, watching rather than playing alongside him for several months, was there an aspect that you grew to appreciate more and learn more about and that you think will be helpful moving forward?
I mean, I think the biggest thing I noticed watching and not playing is how much I missed playing. I think it's something you try your hardest not to, but you tend to take for granted that ability to just be out there with your guys and compete with your guys. So I definitely saw stuff in him that I may not have noticed, some of the small nuances, but also things in all of our guys that I'm really looking forward to, highlighting and taking advantage of this coming season in terms of helping them get in better positions to do what they do and take advantage of their skills. But also I know guys have been really working in this, even though this kind of strange off season, but just a little that I've been able to see so far, guys have been really working. So definitely looking forward to getting back in there with the guys.
Okay, Coop.
Dwight, are you, good to see you. Are you full go, 100% first day of full contact practices? And can you, how do you feel about the mindset that has been publicly addressed as far as the players that have been acquired and just the mindset of being a more physical team, not just wanting to outscore people, but to be better defensively and maybe in the process being more physical in doing that?
First question, yes, full go, ready to get to work. Obviously, we haven't been playing, but hopefully that game shape will come quicker than in years past. Now that we've really been putting in some work here in this offseason and on an individual basis, so hopefully that will come back quick. But yeah, full go. But in terms of the second question, yeah, defensive minded is what we have to be. I think we've proven that we can score. We've proven that we have a lot of offensive firepower, and we're bringing some more offensive firepower as well. They're not just bruisers or whatever you want to call it. These guys are skilled players that are coming in to contribute on both ends of the floor. But yeah, we definitely have to continue to improve that side of the game, and I think that focus is going to be huge in camp. It's going to be huge for the whole season because, as we've seen in the playoffs, it really comes down to how you can stop people to give yourself the opportunity to really take advantage of your offensive skills. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be a huge focus.
Callie. You're on mute, Callie.
Oh, sorry about that. Dwight, yesterday Rick mentioned how those 2 months in the bubble were really key for you making progress with your Achilles and learning to, kind of trust the movements and even get to some scout team stuff. Can you kind of take us through what did that entail for you, and what were those benchmarks that you were able to hit when you were with the team in the bubble?
Yeah, so the bubble really gave me a chance to be hyper focused and hyper diligent on the rehab, and I think regardless of the circumstance, that was my plan going in. But just the nature of the structure of the bubble and every day how rigid our kind of schedule was, I was really able to focus in and listen closely to my body and relearn some of those movement patterns and relearn how to kind of trust this new physical structure that's in my body. So getting able to gradually step into the different stages of the rehab, with no noise was really helpful for me. And obviously having the team there every single day and being around them every single day emotionally was good for me because it felt like I was a part and I was able to contribute at least in some way. Even though it may not have been on the box score, I was able to be around the guys, which really kept my spirits high and kept my motivation high to want to fight to get back as quickly as possible. But yeah, I hit a bunch of benchmarks throughout the time in the bubble. I mean, yeah, from things as simple as just the first time I dunked or the first time I ran backwards or something like that. There was a bunch of those that was really cool to be able to do around the guys, and I was glad I was able to be there.
Okay, Brad?
Hey Dwight, good to see you again. As you may or may not know, the Mavs' best starting five record-wise last season was with you starting at center. But KP's best numbers offensively came when he was playing center. I was wondering if the coaching staff has indicated to you in any way of how things might shake out in that regard once Porzingis returns.
I mean, no. Simple answer to that one. Not really. I think we're gonna do whatever we need to do to find the lineups that are most successful, and we're gonna put our best foot forward offensively and defensively. And guys are gonna be in a groove at certain times. We're gonna make sure we take advantage of that. But yeah, the objective is to win as many games as possible. So whatever lineups or whatever situations we need to do to accomplish that, we're gonna do it.
Appreciate it.
Dana?
Hey Dwight, thank you for the time. Luka is obviously being talked about as an MVP candidate this year, and after these 2 years you've had with him and seeing him elevate his game each year, what do you think about him being in that conversation, and what do you think he has to do to reach that MVP level?
I mean, I'm excited for him. I mean, accolades aside, I think his mentality is more on the winning front. I think he's of the mindset that if he puts in the right work and we win as a team, then all of that kind of stuff just will come or not, and he'll be happy, I'm sure. But his focus is on winning. I think that's what makes him such a good teammate, is because he's showing up to compete, and that's the biggest thing. I know it really hurt him to lose in the bubble last year in the playoffs, and to kind of see that look in his eyes, the fire that he wants to compete and go further, is what's most exciting for me. So I think, as far as specifics on what would need to happen stat-wise or whatever you may be asking in terms of getting that award, I don't think that's really on the radar. I think he's trying to win as many games as possible and then let the chips fall where they may in terms of those kind of individual accolades.
Thanks.
Chris Henderson?
Hey, Dwight. Glad everything's well with you, man. Glad to see you back. Quick question. So from a mental standpoint, I know obviously it was frustrating for you not to be on the court, obviously with the injury. Can you talk about what was the actual toughest part? Maybe the recovery part, or just like getting back to where you were for as a physical standpoint? Because I understand for you, like, athleticism is a big deal. Can you talk about that?
So you're saying the most difficult part that's not mental?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of hard to describe, but I guess when you're in a boot for a prolonged period of time and you're not walking for a prolonged period of time, there's some small muscles and like the little bones in your feet, they don't die, but you haven't used them for so long. It takes a very long time to kind of get them comfortable again. So that was probably the hardest part, was just feeling like I could trust my foot. Surprisingly, there was actually no pain at all with the Achilles, knock on wood, from start to finish. But just getting used to your foot again and being able to move your toes again and be comfortable with your ankle and stuff like that, that was probably the most difficult part.
Okay, we'll do two more. Eddie?
Hey, Dwight, we've seen a lot of guys that have had serious injuries, Boogie and now Klay Thompson, and when it happens, then sometimes the other leg gets overcompensated on. How tough is that to make sure that you're patient enough to ensure that nothing goes haywire like that?
So what am I doing to prevent having an injury on my other leg, is what you're asking? Let's voice that. Let's bring that into the universe. Hey man, I'm just trying to do everything I can to prepare my body top to bottom. I'm obviously going through a rehab right now, and at the latter stages of it, but I'm also preparing for a season, and that's mind and body and skill. I'm trying to prepare to the best of my ability to compete at the highest level. So there's definitely like an extra focus on not overcompensating per se on one side or the other, but that's one of the things that I don't think about until I get asked directly about it because I think it's better to focus on the positive, focus on what you can do. But it's not something I'm worried about.
Thank you. Sorry.
Hey man, it's all good.
Okay, Coop, take us home.
Dwight, all the work that you've done, as Dwayne mentioned, with the Players Association, the return to play, just as an officer in the association, has it given you more of an appreciation of how the game actually works? And does it give you a belief that you'd like to take on an even larger leadership role? Say, for instance, the moment Chris Paul decides he doesn't want to be the head of the Players Association anymore, and even beyond, even once your playing days are over.
No, it's definitely given me a massive appreciation for what goes on behind the scenes in terms of coordinating the opinions and the needs of 450 players to kind of come together and have that kind of representative voice is very difficult. And Chris and the union have done an amazing job, I think, especially through this weird time doing that. But then on the other side, the league kind of having to coordinate with those desires and those voices, and then building an environment where we can compete at the highest level. I was taken aback at first when I realized just how many people are involved and how much time it really takes to put together a season in general, but let alone kind of a bubble pandemic situation, and then now this kind of unique season we're going to have this year. So I was definitely very appreciative, was I guess the word I would use to describe my role in this league as a player, because some of the things I didn't realize had to go in that we were all taking advantage of as players, now I see, and it's really quite fascinating. But in terms of the future, my objective here is to win as many games as possible and to compete with these guys and for this city, and that's my only focus right now.